Right, I'm not going to bullshit you guys. This is not the video that I wanted to make for Bitcoin, but the facts are the facts, and I'll be damned if I ignore them just because I want to make some bullish headlines and videos here. The fact that I'm seeing here for Bitcoin is that we are in a really bearish setup right now. I mean, this is one of the worst setups for Bitcoin bulls that I've seen in a while, with everything going on the chart. I want to break it all down for you and talk to you about how I think Bitcoin, I mean, I'm not saying that Bitcoin's going to be poised to drop down to 25, but man, we are in a dangerous zone right now. And I'm going to tell you what the possibilities that I'm seeing are and what I think is most likely. But of course, this is for you to make your own decisions, right? I'm not here to spoon feed you things and try and change your mind or anything. I don't care about that. I'm looking to make money trading these markets myself. And as a YouTuber, I want you to be able to make the most informed decisions you can, right? So you need to consider every perspective. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing right here on this video. Now, before I continue, these two links in the description, BingX and Bybit, are going to give you huge bonuses to sign up with amazing opportunities to trade as well. BingX will allow you to trade traditional finance with no KYC, and Bybit will give you up to $30,000 to trade with, which is free money, and you can deploy that into the market, and any profits you generate are yours to keep. So check them out. We'll come back to them a little bit later on in this video, but let's talk about where Bitcoin is. We've got this really important level with this green box that starts at about 27.6 up to about $28,000, and it represents a really important level on this chart. It's actually just under this area right here at about 28.6, 28.5, which is where Bitcoin found support. And so this whole range is just where a lot of resistance really piles on for Bitcoin. And we can see that really clearly with the VPVR, right? If we take a look at the VPVR, just zoomed in a little bit on the 4-hour time frame, you can see super clearly that the biggest spike on this indicator comes right here between basically this green box and this yellow line, showing us that this is basically the beginning of a lot of resistance. And the reason the VPVR is spiking here, if you don't know what this is, you can type this into the YouTube search bar and watch my full tutorial on how to get this indicator and how to use it, which is very, very valuable. It's actually part of the wider 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗦 Academy courses that you guys, when you join VIP, most of you actually get for free, where I teach you everything I know about trading from A to Z. But the VPVR just kind of tells you where a lot of the volume on Bitcoin has been exchanged, right? Like where the trading actually happens. And what makes this significant is not just the fact that it lines up with the areas that we already knew, but it lines up with other areas of resistance that we already have on the chart. So we've got this pre-existing horizontal level where we've seen so much consolidation, so many reversals. We've even found resistance here very recently. So this is clearly a resistance level. It lines up very nicely with the VPVR indicator. But if we look at other things like the Ichimoku cloud right here on the 4-hour time frame, look at where all this resistance is. It's just piled on in the exact same place. Guys, when you have so much resistance all in one place, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually going to work, but we're looking at probabilities here, right? This is, I think, what people really miss is I don't care about being right 100% of the time, right? This is really important, actually. I don't care about being right about this particular situation on the chart. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't matter. What I care about much more than this individual circumstance, than this individual scenario here, is I care about what happens when I multiply this by 100. What happens when I'm looking at situations like this 100 times? Am I generally right? Yeah, 100%. When we get this kind of resistance lining up in all the same places, historically, it's always been a really easy prediction for me to make that we might find resistance there and then potentially drop lower, okay? And we've got the Ichimoku cloud here, we've got the VPVR, we've got the horizontal area of resistance. Fuck me, this is horrible. We've got the daily EMA ribbon on top of all of that as well. So we've got momentum on the long-term time frame, flipping bearish as we speak and offering resistance as we speak with a somewhat decent spread. We've got the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hour, we've got the VPVR on any time frame, and we've got the horizontal area of resistance all at the same time, where the long and short ratio is too fucking bullish, guys. We've got way too many people going long in this market right now. Fear and greed index, thankfully, is a little bit below 50, but we've got 2 long positions for every short on Binance for retail traders right now. Even top traders are a little bit heavier long. Even Bybit is a little bit heavier long. I don't know if I'm missing some fucking memo right now that all the retail traders who always lose money have somehow gotten that I missed, but this is a very overextended long and short ratio, okay? We've got a lot of optimism in the market, a lot of people thinking that we're very bullish, but guys, the picture that I'm seeing here, I don't know about you, the picture that I'm seeing here is that Bitcoin lost its area of support and now it's struggling to hang on, right? Now it's been finding resistance or doing whatever the fuck it's been doing. It's hard to even know, and it's struggling to get back up. We can raise this line a little bit. to where some of these reversals have actually taken place, some of these wicks and so on, and we can zoom in even further just to make sure that this is accurate. This looks like a pretty good place to put the line, right? Like somewhere around here. Look, we're below it. This was a previous area of support, really nice area of support, and we are below it. And we've been below it for a while. Now, granted, we are forming some really bullish patterns here, right? I do want to point this out, and I do want to give this some credit. Bitcoin is in, a potentially pretty exciting position. It's with this support line. See, Bitcoin has held this support line right here. And if I actually draw for you what it's producing as a result, I want to find a clean chart. We're going to use this chart right here. What Bitcoin has actually managed to produce as a result of that is a bit of an ascending triangle pattern that looks something a little bit like this. And so, this is pretty good, right? We've got the same ceiling here, more or less, where Bitcoin is finding resistance, yet we are finding support of a diagonal, rising trend line right here. And so we're basically kind of, condensing our pressure right here. I mean, we got a lot of pressure in the market, and it's kind of just getting pushed into a narrower and narrower kind of price area, and because this pattern is kind of leaning to the upside with our support level, these do usually break to the upside with a 66% probability. So pretty good odds, I would say. These do usually break to the upside, and that is a really strong sign for the market. But again, it's like, well, okay, if we clear the resistance level over here and we get, let's say, up here, what happens in this price range? Well, this is 21,100, and if we go back to the chart that I was showing you previously, and we look at what that price level represents, 21,100 puts Bitcoin right up here. And yes, this does clear one area of resistance, and it also clears the 4-hour Ichimoku cloud. It would be a big step forward. But what it also does is it puts us right in the firm grasp of the VPVR resistance, just showing us like this is where a lot of the reversals have happened, right? I mean, you can't just expect that we're just going to blaze right through levels like this, and at the same time, the daily EMA ribbon. And so, the picture that we've seen painted here for Bitcoin is one of resistance everywhere we look, at a time where too many people are going long, right? Like typically the market doesn't actually respond with strength when this many people have gone long in the market. And I think that's a really big deal because, that's kind of hard to pay attention to right now. And the fact that Bitcoin is holding on is reassuring. And, it also gets really confusing when we look at traditional finance. We look at the S&P 500 breaking up, or NASDAQ, by the way. I actually made a video on the NASDAQ index on the 𝗬𝗙𝗧𝗍 daily channel. So go ahead and check that out with the top link in the description down below. That video was not uploaded here. Most of those videos are not uploaded here. And we've had some absolutely phenomenal on-point analysis across that was an index. We've also done Apple. We've been doing altcoins since the channel launched, so definitely do check that out. Huge gains here for traditional finance. And so Bitcoin is not seeing that strength, which is definitely a little bit strange. And so it puts us in a position where we've got an equilibrium, right? There's really good signs to be really good reasons to be bullish right now. There's really good reasons to be bearish right now. But me as a short-term analyst, I'm looking for the next move, right? I don't really care what's going to happen by the end of June, within 40 days from now, but I really care what's going to happen on the 21st and 22nd of May, right? I really care about what's going to happen tomorrow and the day after, and with resistance up here, if Bitcoin is able to rise up into this range, and, I would love to see that happen, it is going to have a lot of problems here, and you have to ask yourself, well, there is a lot of resistance here. That's a fact, right? That's not so easy to argue with, and so you ask yourself, well, okay, if we have a lot of resistance, you probably need a strong market to break resistance levels, right? You need to be strong in order to break resistance. And the thing about this market is I'm not seeing that strength right now, right? Like there's just if we take a look at what's actually been happening in this market, we've been trending lower for quite some time now. We've from this high to our current price, we've been in a downtrend for 36 days. This is not a super short-term trend anymore. And this trend has been characterized by moving down and forming these reaction rallies up and then moving down again. We formed a big reaction rally here, right? Looked a little bit like this. This was the reaction rally. And then we continued to trend down. We formed another reaction rally here. We continued to trend down. So far, we're doing nothing different. We are doing nothing different as far as this downtrend is concerned. And what this would mean is that if we do peak a little bit higher and then find resistance, this is going to look like another really typical consolidation pattern or continuation pattern before the market takes another dump lower. And that, I think, is really, really important. You know, this is really going to come into fruition and actually take place if we see these gains lost across traditional finance. And I don't see a reason for them to lose these gains, especially considering that the dollar is so high. You know, if it does continue to go a little bit higher, it's probably going to find a lot of resistance, right? So I certainly think that, you know, traditional finance is still poised for more upside, and I've been saying that for an incredibly long period of time. We've been very, very accurate with that analysis on this YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribed if you do appreciate that. But if we take it back to Bitcoin and kind of, you know, look at what that might mean for Bitcoin, you know, well, if on the off chance, yeah, traditional finance doesn't continue to rally and it actually kind of starts reversing and we see these price levels dropping, you know, that, I mean, Bitcoin is responding with weakness to signs of strength. What happens if Bitcoin sees signs of weakness? You know, like right now we have strength in the market with traditional finance, and Bitcoin is doing nothing with it. What happens if there's weakness in the market? Is that going to negatively affect Bitcoin? You know, the question I asked is, if we're going to break resistance levels, we need to be in a strong market, right? We need a strong stance in the market. And I just don't think, with the data that I've been looking at and the things that I've been showing you on this chart, that we've been showing strength at this moment in time. You know, it's just not been good enough. We haven't been able to break our high at 27.4, and we knew that was an area of resistance. And above that, you know, we've got even bigger areas of resistance. And I think that's going to make it really challenging for Bitcoin. So where might it go? Well, you know, if we lose this area of support, you know, and truly do drop down, then yeah, the next area that I'm seeing is going to be, you know, up around over here at about $25,000, you know, where I've got this big, nice green box stretching all the way down. Honestly, this can go down to like $20,000. It would still be okay. You know, but, it's clearly looking like we are in some sort of a you know, really nice healthy pullback for this longer term trend, and you know, that it might need to take another leg down now. You know, I mean, if we look at this on the daily time frame, we've had a move down followed by, you know, a reaction and then a move down, and we've now had a reaction, right? Maybe this reaction is going to play out for a lot longer. I don't know, right? It obviously could just keep trading you know, up and to the, you know, just trading up over time, you know, but eventually something like this has to break. And just with the signs that I'm seeing now, I'm not being given the confidence that I need to have in order to tell you guys that, yeah, you know, I think Bitcoin can kind of recover these resistance levels. The really good news for Bitcoin, though, is if, and I've said this before, if Bitcoin can get above these areas of resistance, if Bitcoin can get above 28.6, 28.7, that's where a lot of the resistance ends. You know, the resistance for Bitcoin in the 30K range is not as important as this local resistance, in my opinion. You know, I think if we're able to get above this, it's going to be pretty easy to at least get back up to this high. I think it's going to be pretty easy to get back up to this high. And if we did that, then we ask the question again, well, this is another area of resistance, right? Because it's our prior swing high and it's in the $30,000 range. So again, when we want to break a resistance level, we ask ourselves the same question: how strong is the market? Well, if the market is able to break such a formidable area of resistance like this, it's probably going to be very strong by the time it gets here. So yeah, I would expect these resistance levels to break pretty quickly. The fact that we're being held down here for so long, to me, is an indication that if we do get a breakout, it could be very explosive, and I'm definitely prepared for that. I am still in my long position. I want to remind you guys about this. You know, I haven't done anything with this position since I told you guys that I was taking profits on it. I've taken a lot of profits off this position, but it's still running, and I still want to make more money with it, right? It's difficult for me. It's not nice to have to come onto camera and tell you guys all the reasons that I'm bearish on Bitcoin in the ultra short term, especially when I've got my long position open. But like I said at the very beginning of this video, I'll be damned if I'm the guy that ignores facts just so that I can make some cheery videos. That ain't who I am. That's just not what we're doing here. We're sticking to very realistic, grounded technical analysis, and that does mean telling myself things that I don't want to hear a lot of the time. But you know, the good news is that while that is emotionally challenging and it's not particularly fun to do for me, it does mean that I make money, and I'd much rather have a little bit of emotional discomfort confronting uncomfortable realities. I would rather have that emotional discomfort and make money. You know, a lot of people, they want the comfort and they don't actually make any money. These are the majority of traders that are in the space right now. These are nearly every trader that you have sight. In fact, I'm going to go as far as saying every trader in every group chat that you're in about trading is going to be like this. You know, maybe there are a few exceptions here and there, but most people in this space, they are putting their emotional well-being first and not their fucking wallet balance. And that shows, and that really does show. But that's not what we're doing here. We're staying grounded, we're staying realistic, we're taking that nice path up, right? Like, I'm not trying to do these ridiculous hockey stick jumps up. I'll pull them off when I can, right? Like, I'm not saying no to big profits like this. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie to myself and say that I don't want to sit here in a 200,000, you know, that I don't want to make that kind of profit on a trade. Obviously I do, you know, but what I'm really interested in much more than that is not losing. I'm interested in not fucking it up, right? Because when you screw up and you lose your money, you set yourself back. The only thing we have as traders is time, and you are setting yourself back when you're losing money, because the only way you make money is with that nice 45-degree ascension up. You're not making money like this because you ain't going to keep it, right? The only way you're going to make money that you can keep is by making money that goes up like this, you know? And if you've got that extreme whiplash going around you, and all sorts of crazy shit, you know, in your life with the kind of trading decisions you take, you're never going to be able to maintain this. You're gonna maybe do this if you're lucky, and you're definitely going to have this afterwards 100% of the time. I haven't found exceptions. I've been trading this market for 6 years. If you can find one, I'd love to know about it, because I'd love to ditch my trading strategy and employ that one if it works better than mine. But after doing this for a very long time, you know, it's been very clear that me taking this slower path, that, you know, I'm just kind of looking for these safer plays. I don't want to do anything stupid. You know, it does mean that at the end, you know, other people will make a lot more money than me sometimes trading their shit coins, but they'll always lose it, you know, at the end of it. They'll just never hang on to it, because the same line of, this is a really big deal, the same line of thinking that makes you the huge amount of money is what loses that money as well a lot of the time. And you're not going to have an unhealthy line of thinking which works and then just suddenly decide to drop it, you know, in the next 6 months before you lose money. You know, if you've had a particular line of thinking that made you a lot of money, you best believe you're going to keep it until it destroys you as well. That's just how it works, guys. That's just the psychology of being a trader. I don't make up the rules, but you've probably lived what I'm telling you anyway, so you don't need me to tell you this. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have enjoyed this YouTube video, guys, do me a favor and smash up the likes. Double check that you have checked out these exchanges. You're getting over $70,000 in bonuses when you sign up to these exchanges in the links in the description down below. And these and BingX right here will not require KYC as well, which is really cool. The links have been reordered, as you can tell, but it just makes it a little bit better. We'll actually pull up a new video just so I can show you the new order of the links, just to avoid confusion. Probably should have done this at the beginning, to be honest, but oh, it hasn't been reordered. That's really strange. Okay, it would be reordered for this video, not the previous one, my bad. But yeah, if you have enjoyed this one, you know exactly what to do. Check out the links anyway. You're getting huge bonuses, helps out the channel, and you know it's good for you too, obviously. And if you have enjoyed this one, yeah, do all that good stuff. Check out the Full Size Daily channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.